We have done EVNG setup. We have installed the images in EVNG for everyone, and we have done an initial lab topology. How you can start a topology, how you can connect devices with each other, we have seen. And we have done initial device configuration. In an initial device configuration, we have done configuration for switches, and router we have done configuration. Till this, everyone is clear, right? See, this initial network devices configuration we have done yesterday, like a switch configuration and a router configuration. Now in a lab 2, what we are going to do, we will do a CLI configuration of a firewall. So whenever we get any box, suppose if we are doing a new installation of a firewall, just hold on. Suppose now you are doing a new installation of any new firewall. So you will get one physical box, and physical box has a, suppose 8 ports available. With the 8 ports you will have one more port which is called a management port. By default this management port will have a IP of 192.168.1.99. Suppose this management port is connected here, it is having IP of 1.99. What you can do in a physical firewall, you will take one cable from this management port and connect it to your laptop, and on your laptop you will give IP of same series 192.168.1.1 or 1.100, whatever you can give, you can give in same series, but you don't give 99. After you giving same series IP, you can access this firewall via GUI in this laptop, and you can start configuration. You can change a management IP from a GUI or from a CLI also you can change. But this is a part of physical firewall. But when you have a virtual firewall, there is some differences. What is the difference? When you have a virtual firewall, you don't have a management IP in virtual firewall. So usually in a virtual firewall, whatever ports we have from that particular port, suppose we have 8 ports available, from this particular 8 ports or particular 4 ports, we will use one port as a management. And in our lab, the same port which we are using for a management, we will use for a internet also. Suppose we have some devices like switch, VM computers available. These devices, if we need a internet, we will use same this one port for management as well as a internet access. And on our device, the initial configuration we are doing via CLI. In my case, I am using a static IP. In your case, see, in my case I have a server. I don't have like a DSCP or anything available in my server. But in your case, you are using a VMware workstation like, and it is connected to your home router. So in your case, you can use a DSCP IP. Okay. So to check what is a DSCP IP you got on your firewall, there is certain commands which we will will show you now in the next slide. So to how to configure a static IP. First, before configuring a static IP, you should know how to log into a firewall now. The default username of a firewall is admin, and there is no password by default. So once you type a username, you just need to type like enter, and it will ask you to change a password. Let us do that now. I'll just power on my firewall. Okay. It is getting powered on. Just wait for a couple of minutes. Okay, it is powered on now. The default username is admin, and there is no password. You just need to type enter. Now it will ask you are forced to change a password. Please input a new password. Now you need to type a new password. See, in our labs, I will give a new password as a lab123. it will ask to confirm a password. Once you type a new password, you are logged into a firewall now. This is a first interface of a firewall. Okay, so change a password in a first login. After you change a password, in my lab scenario, I need to give a static IP. So how we can give a static IP? There is a command. By default, I don't have to check how your device having IP or not. So system interface and type a question mark. See, on a port 1, it is configured as a DSCP and I got this IP. But I don't want to use this IP because this will not ping in my environment. It is something else IP. I don't want this. I want a different IP. But in your environment, if it is working, you can use the same IP to access a firewall. Okay. And I want to change my static IP now. My port 1 IP, which I am using for a management purpose. Do one thing. mgmt internet. Okay. I am using this particular clause as a mgmt and a internet. I will change this IP now.
Sir,
Yeah,
hello.
tell me.
Yeah, sir. Actually, Fortigate password.
Okay, so now we will configure our port 1, which we are connecting a management and internet purpose. So config system interface edit port 1. Now my port 1 is configured as a DSCP. I need to change a mode first. Set to mode, instead of static DSCP, I want to put it as a static. Now I want to set the IP of this interface 10.0.0.223/. I'll use this IP in my environment. In your environment, you can use any IP which is working with the management, or you can go with the DSCP simply. After IP, I need to allow access for HTTPS, HTTP, SSH, telnet and ping. That's it, and just type a enter. End now. Now let me see a configuration again. So system interface question mark. Now my IP is changed and I am using a static IP. Is it clear to everyone? Okay, so after our initial CLI configuration,
Yes, where we can, I don't have these documents. Where I can find this
I,
document?
I have not shared it, I have not uploaded it anywhere. I will share it. When we have
Yeah,
like
okay, fine.
classes step by step, I will share these documents.
Okay, so what is the command? This one edit port, right?
Edit port 1. First we do a CLI access. We can take a firewall access via GUI. Okay. So how we can take access, just now I shown to everyone. Just open your browser and whatever IP you set to DSCP or SSH you got from a firewall, using that IP you can access it. See, by default our firewall supports HTTP because low encryption. There is no license, so it supports low encryption. HTTPS needs high encryption. So we are using HTTP only in our firewalls. So after initial configuration, we need to do a configuration of interfaces via GUI. So when it comes to interfaces, what type of interfaces? See, port 2 connecting to branch and port 4 connecting to switch side. So these two interfaces we need to configure. When we configure interfaces, there are certain parameters we need to follow. Interface should have a role and interface will have a IP address. From a GUI also we can do static or DSCP IP address. Then what type of protocols should be allowed from an interface? Ping should be allowed or not. When we gave from a CLI set allow access and all, we gave like SSH and all, but for these interfaces will allow only ping. And when it comes to role, there are multiple type of roles. One is WAN, another is LAN, another is DMZ, then another one is unidentified. Okay, unidentified. So in our environment, we will use this particular port as a WAN role, and this will use as a LAN role. And this particular port number also we will edit as a WAN role for an internet purpose. Let me do that now. Once you log into a firewall, you see a network. Under network, you go to interfaces. Okay. Now first me edit. I will edit port 1. There is no role as of now for port 1. I will assign a role. You see role. I will assign as a WAN role. Alias I will give mgmt interface. Internet I will give. Sorry. Okay. And whatever is there, I will keep it as it is. Then another port we need to change is port 2, which is connecting to a branch router. See, in our environment, we have LAN environment, we have one branch environment. 1 minute, hold on. Branch router we have, then we have a internet route. So port 2 is connecting to branch. I'll give a alias. Alias is nothing but a name. The role here will also be a WAN role because it is not a LAN side and we don't have any other roles. We cannot create any other roles which is available by default. We need to use it. So now we will go with the IP address. On a firewall port to what IP we are using? 10.1.1/24. And I will allow ping as administrative access. I will allow ping to check what we say reachability. See, there are certain differences when you give roles. If you give a role as a WAN role, you don't have a DHCP server option or anything. You see, after
Whereas we cannot give that DHCP, yeah?
see when we have a role as a WAN, no, you can give here also DHCP, but this router should be whatever WAN interface is having. This router is not configured as a DHCP server. Then you will not get a DHCP IP. But in general scenario, you can give a WAN IP as a DHCP also, not an issue. Okay. So what I was saying, when you give an interface role as a WAN, you don't have an option to configure this interface as a DHCP server. But if I give interface as a LAN interface, what difference we have, we will find out. Let me configure port 4 as a LAN interface. I'll give a role as a LAN. Then I will configure one IP 192.168.5.1/24. Note, when I gave a interface as a LAN interface, I got more options actually. You see, I can configure this firewall as a DHCP server for LAN users. This was not available for a WAN side. Then I have like security mode. In that I can use capitive portal and all device detection available, which is not available in our WAN role. Okay. Yeah. So everyone configured this. We gave one interface as a WAN role and another interface as a LAN role. So if you observed, for a WAN role, we cannot use the firewall as a DHCP server. This is not possible in a WAN role and it is possible in a LAN role. Then we have like security modes. This is also not possible in a WAN role, but it is possible in a LAN role. When we have a security mode, in a security mode we have like capitive portal. Then we have a device detection. It is possible in a LAN role only, but in a WAN role it is not possible. There are certain limitations for a WAN role, which is available only in a LAN role. But
The role you were referring, right?
hmm
So that is the same firewall.
Then we have user creation. See, when we do a user creation, there are many things you need to take care. This user creation, whatever we are doing, is of two types. One is admin users, and one is like another user type is for a VPN or for a capitive portal. See, whenever you connect, suppose you have this firewall, it is connecting to internet now. This firewall is connected to internet. Over internet, you have one user sitting. He wants to access your inside server. Suppose you have one server here. You want to access your server via remote access VPN, right? And whenever he wants to log into your firewall via VPN, he needs some user ID and password. So we will use this type of VPN or normal users we will use. And we have one admin user. Admin user will be used for a firewall access, firewall administration purpose.
The capital capitive portal, right? What is that? So
Yeah,
what it will do?
I will explain you. When we have a captive portal lab, we have certain
Okay.
labs for captive portal. If you see, let me show you. For captive portal, we have separate lab and separate topic. It is just as of now, we need to understand that we have two type of users in our environment. One is
Hmm.
admin users, which will be used for firewall access. Under admin users, we have a roles actually. We can configure separate roles for a separate admin users. So let me show you first how to configure admin users. Once you log into a firewall, suppose there is a scenario where you have multiple users. See, just go to system. You see admin profiles. You can create separate roles for separate users. I will create like one read-only user. Read-only, and I will give there are certain access restrictions. Set all to read. I will give now. See, I can edit everything, but this particular profile what I am creating, that particular profile I will create one new user now, new admin user. I will give a name as admin1, password, whatever password you want you can give. Then admin profile what we created just now, read only. I'll select that particular profile, okay, and click on OK. Now I will try to log in with this admin profile and see what is happening. See, for my profile, I have like super admin rights, so I can edit, I can do anything. You see, if I click here, I have edit option. Under edit option, I have like OK and cancel everything. But for a new user, which we have only read only access, what is the difference between that? I will use admin1 as a username. Now this is a new user we created with the read only access. Let me check under network, under interfaces. See, I don't have any edit option here. I have only view access. When we have read only permissions given, we can view whatever is available in a firewall, but we cannot edit anything. Not only network, if you go to policy and object, firewall policy, I don't have an option to create a new policy. But if you check normal super admin user, under policy and object, firewall policy, we have option to create or edit anything, modify anything. But for read only users, we don't have. So that's what I was trying to say. See, let me read. We will come to a VPN users later. Let me only focus on admin users as of now. Okay, we will use this. So for admin users, first what you need to do, admin profiles. Then you have users, administrators. See this admin profiles, you can do a customization of your profiles. You can give full as a read only. You can give full as a read and write access, or you can give like a custom read and custom write. Custom read and custom write means you can give a user that he can do modifications in a network he can do a read and write, but he cannot do modifications in a policies he has only read access. Logs he has a read access, and there are certain parameters he is not having a none access, like he cannot read, he cannot write, he will not see that particular tab only in his login. So we can do modifications based on our requirements. How you will do this, let me show you. Custom requirements, suppose I log into a firewall. When we go to systems and admin profiles, see, I'll create one more. See, we have all these options available, right? See, under users and dashboard, I have none. When you say firewall, we have custom options in a firewall. Policies, I should not be able to see. Addresses, I should not be. You see, policy and object, we have many things like policies, address, everything. It is given as a none. When you give this as a none, this particular tabs will not able to see on user environment. Then we have a network you can give read write. Under this particular firewall also, you can give him like addresses should be read, but policy should be only none. Services read, schedule none, others read. Whatever options you want, you can customize it as per your requirement. Then logs and reports, under logs and reports also you have many things like configuration changes, threat weight, whatever you want you can edit it. And you, after you configure this profile, you need to allow this, you need to create one user. In my case, suppose we created admin one. This particular read only or whatever profiles you created, you need to bind this user with particular profile, then only it will work. Before binding a user to a profile, it will not work. So in one case we have given like a read only access. Now we will go to another profile and we'll create like there is a scenario. I want to, the user should have like we will just give an example like I have one user admin 2. This user I want to give network access, read and write, policies. Under policies I will give a reader. Then what I have under policies, we have addresses. I don't want he to see whatever addresses I created. Services also I don't want him to see. Okay, we'll create with this customized profile and we'll see. Just remember network read and write, policy none. Okay, we'll get it, no issue. Let me create one profile now. Cancel this. Create new profile. Custom, I am giving a name as a custom itself. Under network, I want to give read and write. Under firewall, policies are read, addresses none. What I have other things. Policies read, address none, service none. Okay. So yeah, that's all we want, and we don't want any other things to be accessed by this user. So okay, that's it. Now we have one custom profile. We'll go to administrator. We'll create a new user, admin 2. Okay, then I'll give a password. Okay, then I am selecting a profile as a custom profile. Okay, now I created admin 2 user. Let me log out of this and I log into another user now. Data. See, for every user we get like this pop-up when we log in first time. So you see, for this particular user I have very limited things available. For a network I have total read and write access. I can edit and anything, but under policies and object I only allowed firewall policies. I did not allow anything. And firewall policies also, what was our scenario? Firewall policies should be read only and network read and write. And any other thing, addresses or services, I have not done anything. So we can create this type of customization policies and we can allow particular user is a normal user which we use in a policies. So normal user which we use in a policies, we call it a users and authentications. Under users and authentication, let me show you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Soumya.
Yeah, sir.
We were checking for normal users now. So normal users is just a user like you can create a user and user groups. Then we have like LDAP users, radius users. For this LDAP and radius users, you should have like a LDAP or radius server. Suppose you have one firewall and it is connected to your LAN. Inside your LAN, you have one Microsoft server. Microsoft server available. This server you configure as a LDAP. Now you need to integrate this firewall with the server. This firewall and this server should be integrated with the LDAP protocol. Then whatever users you created in this particular Microsoft Active Directory, it will continuously sync with your firewall because you have LDAP configured on a firewall. We have one type of users as a LDAP users. Then we have another user as a radius users. Okay. Then we have local users. When we configure local users, first we need to configure a user. Then we need to bind a user in a user group. In our lab we will focus on local users because we don't have LDAP or anything in our lab. Okay, let me show you how to do a local user creation. Just click on user definition, create new user, a local user. Username is like test user. Password, you can give any password. If you want two-factor authentication, you can enable for a VPN purpose, but we don't have two-factor, just a normal user we are creating. Then that's it. User group, we will allow it later. Now I created one local user. I will create one user group like LAN users. And then whatever users I have, I will add these users in this. So that's how we can create a local user in our environment. And whatever users we create in a user and authentication, this particular users, when we configure a VPN policy, you can use it. See, let me show you. I am creating one policy from a branch to LAN, suppose. And when I create on a source, I only have what users we created in user and authentication, but I don't have any admin users available here, right? There is no admin available, but only test users we will have. Test user or a LAN user group. So whatever you create in a user and authentication, you can allow or deny from a firewall policy. When we have that use cases, we can do it. If you don't have use case, we cannot do that. So after the users creation and the user explanation, we have another topic which is firewall management access restrictions for a specific IP. Suppose you have an environment. In our environment, this is not suitable actually. Suppose you have a firewall you have a firewall. Inside your LAN, you have multiple VLANs. Okay, you have three VLANs. Assume one is given to your sales department, another one is given to your marketing department, and third VLAN is given for IT engineers. Now this particular LAN interface or management interface you configured for mgmt access. You allowed SSH and ping, telnet, https, everything you allowed on this particular interface, LAN interface. Okay, now you don't want the sales and the marketing team should access this firewall for a administration purpose, but only IT team should access this firewall. So you have for sales department you have suppose 1.0 series, marketing you have 2.0 series, and IT you have 3.0 series. Now only 192.168 3. Series should access a firewall for management access, and the rest all should not be accessing. So how we can do this? So to do this particular scenario, whenever you create an admin or user, administration user, under administration user you have an option restrictions of IP address, like a trusted host will be available. So whatever host you give as a trusted, that particular host can only access a firewall. Rest all host will be denied from accessing. So in my lab scenario, what I will do, on this particular port I have 223, and on this management PC I have one computer with the 222 series. Okay, I will give a trusted host with only this 222 IP, and rest all will be denied. Before that, let us see if I can access from all the host. See, this my computer IP is like 222, not 41, and I have another computer whose IP is 221 actually. Let me show you that computer. CMD. This IP is 212, okay, and my computer IP is 222. So what I will do, I will allow only access from 222, and rest all access will be denied. Now this we will do on one admin one. I created one user admin one. Just click on edit, and you see restrict login to trusted host only. Under this trusted host, I can give one particular IP or I can give total subnet. As of now, I will give particular IP. So if I give particular IP, only particular user, this particular computer can only access a firewall from that particular username. This restrict host is only applicable to particular users. You cannot give it a global configuration or something. You need to give it on all users, whatever admin users you have. Okay, now let me try to log in via 222. Admin 1. Okay, I was able to log in with my computer. Let me try to log in from another IP now, which is not in a trusted host environment in that firewall, that for particular user. Let me do it. 0.0.0.223. Okay, now same username I will use, admin1. Authentication failed. Why it is failed? We need to check it now. Let me go to a firewall now. I will go to logs and reports, and I will see logs and reports. Let me go to events, system events. See, administration 1 logged in failed from HTTP. So what is this logged in failed? Why it is logged in failed? Reason is IP blocked. You see, login failed, action login, status failed. What is the reason? IP blocked. message administration admin1 logged in failed from HTTP because of IP blocked. You will get this type of message when you have only trusted admin. And I even try to log in from another IP. This time you see when I try to log in from another IP, this is given as a trusted and it is successful, and this is given as a, there is no other IP given as a trusted and it was getting blocked. Let me allow one more IP in a trusted host and we will see again how it works. Under system administrator, I will give one more IP here. 10.0.0.212 slash 32. This is my computer IP, right? 212. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I gave 212 IP now. Now I will try to log in again. Just a refresh and log in. Sorry, I gave wrong password. Okay. This time I was able to log in successfully. I think we should get multiple messages now. One was a wrong password, it should get event, system event. One was a logged in failed. This was because of like admin1 login failed. Password invalid. Okay, then we got like successful login. This time also same from a same source, but it was allowed, so we are able to log in now. Admin1 logged in from successfully from particular IP address. So that's how you can do like, but it is applicable only for one particular user. If suppose if you do not allowed or not given restrictions for every user, suppose now I will remove 212 again. Now let me try 212 again from 212. I will get like login fail. Let me log out. For admin1, I will get like login fail. But for admin2, I can able to log in because I have not given any restrictions, right? See, for every user you need to give a trusted host, or else it will be, if you don't give anything, it is allowed by default all IPs. It is like securing your management access of a firewall for a particular users, only to a trusted IP addresses only. Is it clear?